Welcome to the Snobs podcast.
That's right, everybody. It's Tuesday night. Welcome to the Snobs podcast. Thank you for joining in. We truly appreciate you. I'm Mick Manhattan, the host of the show, but I have a very special guest co-host joining me tonight. It's a friend of mine. He hosts Jack Billingsley Presents. He hosts, man, this guy hosts a lot of stuff. He's a 9,000 times Snobby award-winning podcaster, and he's a good dude, and he's funny as hell, so I'm glad to have him on the show. And that is Michael Colby is here to join me tonight. Welcome, Michael.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I've been wanting to do, I am on the award show so much. I was like, when do I get to do the regular show? But now I finally get to do the regular show.
You do? Yep. Yeah, it's opened
very happy to be here.
Guest co-host, we are still booking, so if anybody's interested, make sure to message us. We're booking for December and January right now. So, but let's get started, my friend. Like we have a lot to go over tonight. It's pretty crazy. You
Great.
Ready?
I'm probably ready. I didn't do any prep work, so
So vibrators, how do they feel?
Depends on the coating on them, and also because if you just have the metal, they get hot. I have a feeling
that's a curling iron.
Oh, no wonder.
Which makes it even more baffling right now. It's the beard. It's the beard. Dude, I love it. And well, actually, one of the things I definitely want to talk to you tonight about that I'm very interested in. I host podcasts, you host podcasts. But I do scripted stuff, but like this is unscripted. Like I have an of course, like when I put my stuff together, I have an overview. Overview. Yeah. I don't know why I can think of that 4-letter word, but why I have an overview of like the beats I want to touch down, and then I do my research for different things, but I don't script it because especially when I bring in people, I would really like this. Like I like being able to have the conversation, feeling like we're hanging out. I don't want anybody feeling like they have to say certain things or say certain points. Like it just never works for me. But scripts are important. I was also a filmmaker, so I'm not against them. Now you host a scripted podcast, and I'm so excited to hear more about that.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I would call it even hosting it.
True, yeah. It's just like a radio show, right?
It's a totally like full cast. I mean, some people do a couple different characters, but for the most part, it's a full cast. Everybody has their role that they do, and it's a radio show. And the thing about podcasts like that, I totally get, because I've been listening to podcasts for probably 10 years. And there's so many cool ideas like out there in podcasting. But there's also a lot of people just like doing whatever's popular. And I don't think most people understand that the reason that those things are popular is because the hosts are good at what they're doing. So you get these people who are just like trying to emulate like Joe Rogan. And it's like, you're not Joe Rogan. You and your dumb friends are bad at this. Like, people aren't listening to Rogan. I don't think they should listen to Rogan anyway, but that's a different story. But people aren't listening to Rogan because of what he talks about. It's because of the hosts of the show.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's actually funny you mention that. I disagree to an extent. Now, I agree with you about most things. I like Rogan only because I try to listen to everything, and I'm talking about all viewpoints. Now, I'm not like listening to the David Duke podcast or anything like that, but
yeah.
I do. There are people who I disagree with socially and on other things that when I listen to them, it's kind of cringe sometimes, like some of the things they're saying. But I do try to listen to them because somewhere along the lines, especially for me coming up, like I listen to Ben Shapiro, not all the time.
Oof.
That dude is a hateful dude.
Oh God, he sucks.
and let me explain. I get into it, not really just on him, but like I will be talking about him and about that. So I'd love to hear your opinion. If you do want to stick around for Let Me Explain, we're going to be talking about the Barbie movie and the controversy there. So, but regardless of all that,
yeah,
I'll listen to like a Nerdrotic or Ben Shapiro, ones who are successful in doing this and successful for good reason. And what I mean by that is like they put in the work, they put together good videos. So it's really well produced. I see why they're successful. I see why they have a base, and it's important for me to listen to what they're saying so I get all sides, not learning all sides, but I get all sides to see what's what. Why are these people so hateful towards this versus these people who are so hateful towards this, and where can I lie in the middle somewhere?
Yeah, I understand. Like when Joe Rogan started, this is not going to be about Joe Rogan. I just wanted to sort of
welcome to the Joe Rogan.
But like when Rogan started, he was like a dumb guy who was interested in learning things, and you could tell that. But like when you listen to him now, he's no longer a dumb guy who's trying to learn things. He's a guy who has his opinion set and nobody's going to teach him anything. And he sort of went to like the Alex Jones side of the conspiracy theory stuff. And that's why, you know, because people can, I mean, obviously people change. Everybody does. But like Rogan was interesting in the beginning. And then he went so slowly that I don't think a lot of people noticed that he was like, that he's like hard over on that like conspiracy theory side now.
Oh yeah, and he hardcore, and yeah, I do agree with you. Like, you know, and I say I listen to him because, well, mostly I listen to him for his guests. He's a great interviewer. Like the same reason I listen to Howard Stern and stuff like that. You can, and I can't remember the guy's name, but the one who does Hot Wings.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, the Hot Wings guy, yeah.
If you're a good interviewer, I want to know. I want to learn from you. I want to watch you. And that's kind of what I'm saying in terms of like why I watch some of these guys. Like I can watch Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is, and I bring him in because he is a hateful, like I said, he's a hateful dude.
Yeah.
But and no, I don't agree with what he's saying or condone or spread, but he's a really good interviewer. He's a really good researcher. He's really good at a lot of different things to building podcasts, building awareness, building all that stuff. So to watch him and say, okay, well, if I did this, but I did it with my twist, which is just how I feel. Yeah. So I need to watch those, not just the ones that I really like, but the ones that I don't like to kind of get that feel vibe of what I want.
Yep. And I totally understand that. But also at the same time, I also can't stand Ben Shapiro's voice. So I wouldn't be able to listen to his podcast anyway. I have a real voice.
That's the funny thing. It's about people like that. Like when I listen to his voice, the things he's saying, they're so hateful. They make me angry. So like when I listen to him, it makes me angry, but I know I'm going to that place and I just keep reminding myself, like, I'm just here to learn and you can learn from anyone.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree with that. I agree. You can learn from anyone.
In my opinion, you can learn just as much from somebody about how to do something as you can from somebody about how not to do something. So, and that's why when I say when I listen or I watch these guys, it's more to better myself and what I'm doing. But and also because usually if I'm talking about something controversial, they're at the center of it.
Yeah. And so my point before I went on my rant was,
I love it. Don't worry about that.
The podcasts are so cool. I think podcasts are like this crazy, you can do anything. Like we have this show where we are a bunch of, you know, we were never comedians or we never wrote TV. We were never on anything, you know, it's a bunch of theater kids, you know, we've all done theater, but it wasn't like we knew what we were doing. We learned how to write scripts. We learned how, like, I do all the production on the shows. So I make the sound effects. I edit the podcast. I make it flow. I make it, you know, but podcasts are so cool because you can do all that stuff. If you decide to put the work in, you know, everybody used to be like, oh, I want to be on TV. I want to, you know, write for a TV show or whatever. And it's like, that's real hard to get into. But podcasting, I mean, you wouldn't want to do it now, but like podcasting, you can just do it. And if you decide that you're going to put in the work and learn how to do it, you can just do it. Like our show is insane. like we have black magic sorcerers that live in the walls. I'm a ghost in the show. We have vampires in the show who, when they die, they burst into like a cloud of cicadas and they can fly. And I had to figure out, like, what's the sound of someone sort of morphing through a wall? What's the sound of, a ghost talking, all of that stuff. And it's like, we just sort of did it. And it's like, there was some rough, like our first season, there's some rough stuff in there because we were learning how to do it. But I think Haunted Apartment Complex is like a very polished show because we spent 2 years just learning what we were doing. And you don't have to like make what everybody else is making. You can make whatever you want. And podcasts are like, it's not like you have to sell a network on what you're doing and sort of make it homogenized so that it's accessible to a wide audience. You can make it as weird and niche as you want, and you're going to find these niche weirdos who like your stuff. And that's all you need. Like, you don't need to make Everybody Loves Raymond, like a big generic sitcom that's funny to the most amount of people. You can make something very specific that maybe 10,000 people enjoy, but they enjoy it. And I think that's so cool. Like, you don't have to make a product. You can make art with your podcast. And the people that, and it's accessible. Like, a podcast is free. All you have to do is, open the Apple, thing, or your Spotify or whatever, and people can find it. So you can do whatever you're passionate about rather than, what you think is going to sell to the most amount of people. And that's, I think, the most important thing about podcasting. I think that's the most important thing about what we do. Like, you have a show of stuff that you are passionate about, and you can tell. And you can also tell when the people are just trying to do something to make money. And they're never going to make money doing it that way because they're not passionate about it. And people can tell. People can tell when you're not passionate about what you're doing. So when you're, when you know about what you're talking about on your podcast, or you're passionate enough to make the most insane thing you possibly can, the people who like that stuff are going to find it. And I think that's, like, between YouTube and podcasts, making your stuff and getting it out there is, like, I'm not going to say easy, but it's like, you can do it now. When I was, a 13 to 17-year-old, and we had a VHS camera that we stole from our friend's dad, and we were making, samurai movies where my sidekick was a Cabbage Patch Kid doll named Babyface.
I love it.
Like, we could do that kind of stuff. We made our swords with wood and stuff, and we would, make these movies, and nobody saw them because whatever. But now we can make this crazy podcast and people can listen to it. And I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love your sentiment on it, because I agree with you. It cuts out that middleman. You're able to, like, kind of free up that chance. Now, having worked in studios, is there benefits? Of course. There's, of course,
absolutely.
Like, you have so much backing you up and things like that. But with this, I do feel like you cut out that middleman, where it's like, I'm presenting it straight to everybody. And yeah, I may not have the big grasp that these studios could give me, but I can at least come about and go and then present my stuff and see who likes it, build my community myself,
Yes. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there is something to those big, broad, sitcoms or whatever. Like, I enjoy a lot of big, dumb sitcoms. Like, I don't have a problem with that stuff, but I think it's really cool that the people who want to do niche stuff like what we do are able to do that and get it out, and people can find it. Yes. The part that I don't like is having to get that out there. I don't want to be on Instagram. I don't want to be on TikTok, but there we are because that's what we have to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. But like, I do agree with you. Like, you have to be on these certain things, but that's to be successful in this industry. Like, you have to be able to put yourself out there. That is the cost. But I do. Weirdly enough, I hate social media, but I've gotten good at it. So like, and being good at it means you have to like be on it all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Dadpool's here. Dadpool, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining in. Everything is well. Hope everything's well with you. Sturdy's here. And then I have some advice. What's up, Sturdy? Thanks for joining in, man. And then I have some advice for you, sir, from Nessie, 90 Just. Scene Stunts, have a good stream. 100 viewers for 5 cents only. Easy with get viewers. Bro,
Ooh.
This is like the worst grammar I've ever seen. Catch a promo for 10 free viewers. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, let's talk to that bot who's going to charge you more money for fake views. That's the other thing that you have to deal with, like podcast promoters and stuff. Like
everyone,
yeah. And I understand that you need listens to boost your numbers so that it's exposed to more people, but like I hate even the thought of having someone subscribed to my podcasts who not only isn't listening but isn't like a real person. Like, all I want is for people to hear my stuff. And if they don't like it, like, I understand. It's not like the tagline for our first season, which is Jack Billings presents Me and My Neighbor Michael. The tagline is literally, it's not for everyone. Like, we get that what we're doing isn't for everyone, but for the people who it is for, man, there's nothing better than finding a thing that you're like, what is that? Like, who else thinks like this? And every once in a while, I'll find a podcast and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good because this is some weird thing, like some weird, I have a couple, I don't want to promote other people's stuff, but like there's a podcast that I listen to called The Milkman of St. Gaff. And it's like set in a world that has like a war going on, and like the heroes are literally milkmen, and it follows around this guy who's a real shitheel, and like it's just so interesting. It's like a horror story, and like it's just so weird, and it's like, who thinks of this stuff? And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's me who thinks of it. It's people like me who think of this stuff. And I think it's really cool that again, that we can get that stuff out, and that other people who are like that can be like, oh, I can do this too. I would love if everyone who is creative, everyone who's ever dreamed of like writing a movie for Hollywood or something, until that dream comes true, like write a podcast, make a cool podcast. Maybe you'll discover that that's your thing.
Yeah,
like,
you never know. It really does. It like kind of pops out at you, and you never really know.
Yeah, like I've written scripts before, but they never were what I wanted. And then when I got into the audio only medium, it was like, oh, okay, this is what it was, because you have to warp what you're doing so that you're telling a story, because we don't use a narrator. You can only tell what's going on by what's happening in the story. So you have to figure out, how to write something so that you're explaining what's going on, but in a way that seems like something that someone would actually say. And it's like such a weird push and pull. Like, we can't show anything, so we have to tell it, but we're not using a narrator, so we have to work it into the conversation, or somebody has to like make an offhand comment of what's going on. And you would think that would be restrictive, but it like opened up how I'm able to think about writing. And so if you're stuck, maybe try to come up with a story that's all dialogue, no explanations of anything, and maybe that'll open up what you're trying to get out there.
Nice. I love that. I really like that that aspect to it, of where that's just great advice, man. That's really awesome advice. And I really like how you're open to sharing it. A lot of people aren't, and I'm not saying gatekeeper or anything like that, but like, look at it. We live, like you said, it's It is. It's the Wild West when it comes to podcasting because it's so new.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this situation where, for me, I guess when I'm looking at things and I'm doing my research and I'm really building and I'm, putting things together, I look at how everything is and like it's almost like an MLM, like that weird multi-level marketing that they have.
Mm-hmm.
People just selling you on everything that they can. And we need to like at this point, like right now, like for this to become a legit industry, and we're in the beginning, so it is what it is, but we probably will never see it at its heyday, but hopefully we will. But
hey, and that's okay if what we're doing now leads to the next generation of people making the next cool thing. I'm happy with that. I'm happy to be the Ramones to like Green Day. You know what I mean?
yes, I get that. I definitely get that.
I'm fine being, the less successful but more influential type. I think that's really cool. And that's, what you said before, people are like weird about helping other people's podcasts. It's like it's not like an either me or you thing. Podcasts, I mean, I listen to probably 60 hours of podcasts a week. Like I have plenty of time to listen to podcasts. And when someone finds what they want, they're not going to stop listening to my podcast to listen to your podcast. They're going to listen to both podcasts. And the better that our podcasts can be, the longer they're going to listen for. So helping each other out with, making our shows better, why wouldn't you want to do that? And I'm not saying that I have all the answers. I love getting like feedback. I love getting, tips from other podcasters because it's like, oh, well, if you do this, that's a great idea. This is why, this was why we were sort of stuck. So yeah, that sort of thing is so that's why I try to keep people like you and like the we have like a group chat and like the Some Nobodies guys. I love to have people who are like, if I have a problem, I know that if I go to those people, they're not going to be like, oh, well, I had to figure it out, so figure it out. They'll be like, oh, I had this same problem. This is what I did. And I think that's great. I think the community of podcasters who aren't competing with each other is like a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that. Like it's for certain. It really does. It is a wonderful community. And I like how it kind of builds out and always, again, like you always run into everything. Like I said, it's the Wild Wild West. It's the Walking Dead, if you will. You could turn a corner and run into people who are trying to block you from doing anything. It's really just a matter of navigating, learning for yourself, like what's the best way to go about it. I love Michael's take on this. He sounds very positive and supportive. He is. Michael's a good dude, for sure. He's got great podcast. Well, he's insane, but he's great.
I also like what you do. I would never even think about doing. Like I would never think about doing a podcast by myself. Like that seems crazy to me because that's not who I am. Like also like realizing what your strengths and weaknesses are. Like everybody, has an idea in their head, but you also can't keep that idea. Like I've thought about, let me do a solo podcast. That's not who I am. I need someone to bounce things off of. So like if I would try to do something by myself, that's not who I am. And I've tried and it went badly. So that's why, and we did 8-time Scene Snob Award winning podcast No Time to Binge. There's 4 of us, and it's me and B and Dylan and Zach. And Dylan and Zach are more rooted in reality than B and I are. So that was it's on hiatus right now, but we are going to be coming back. Like we're just working through some stuff. And it's real life stuff, and not everyone is a robot only programmed to podcast like I am. So the real life stuff happens. But in the meantime, B and I have a show about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and we're both insane. And we have nobody to anchor us to reality in that show. So that one's a little bit more off the rails. And I love that as well. Like, that's, everything is, I could be on probably 10 different podcasts and sort of be a different person on each one, depending on who I'm with.
Okay. All right.
And you can do that.
And I get that.
You can do that because this is podcasting. You can do whatever you want. Stop trying to be like other people. Be yourself. And that's what people want.
Yeah.
Again, that's my main message.
Well, I thought we'd switch up gears a little bit if you're cool with it.
I'm fine with it. I don't know how much people enjoy the like inside baseball podcast stuff. I think it's super interesting, but let's talk about normal scene snobs stuff.
Works for me, my friend. You know what? Not normal scene snobs stuff. Let's talk about movies.
Okay.
I'll get beyond that, right?
Yeah. I like movies normally.
Yeah, you know what? But it's not really about movies this time. I was going to go a little bit more niche.
Ooh, I like that even better.
Sweet. I love it. So, what do you think about movie snacks? Let's talk about it. I've done 5 takeaways. I've done other podcasts where I've talked about some of my favorite movie snacks. But particularly with you, I want to talk about, because you're a weird guy. You said it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You like weird things.
Mm-hmm.
So getting into it, I want to not only your some of your favorites, like you really have to have it, but what would you sneak in? And what's the biggest snack you've ever snuck into a movie theater?
Ooh. Okay, well, here's the thing about me. I have misophonia. I can't stand the sound of people chewing, especially crunchy things. So going to a movie theater is basically torture. Like, if there's a lot of people there, it's basically torture for me. Whoever decided that popcorn was the snack to eat at a movie should go to prison. I'm against prison for everyone except for whoever decided the popcorn was the movie snack. I think that's a terrible idea. Personally, what I like at the movie theater, I don't know why, but it's Junior Mints. I love Junior Mints at a movie. Like, if I try to eat Junior Mints outside of a movie, I'm like, yeah, these are fine. But if I have a box of Junior Mints that I brought in from the dollar store in my cargo pocket of my shorts, I'm like, this is the nectar of the gods. I love this stuff.
It really is. It's weird. It really is weird how it, I don't know. Like it's really weird to me how food can taste different in certain settings, especially like in a movie or something like that. Like it's just it sticks with you.
Yeah. But I'm big on, I like candy at a movie. I like Sour Patch Kids at the movies. I love, like I said, Junior Mints at the movies. I enjoy a hot dog at the movies, but like,
okay,
these people, these freaks, these absolute freaks who put nachos in the movie, like, even if the sound of chewing and crunching doesn't bother you, popcorn and nachos are so loud. So if you have a full theater and everybody's eating nachos, like, how are you concentrating on what's going on in the movies? Stop it. Soft snacks at the movies. Can we get bottles of Pepsi Max and only soft candy at the movie theater?
Pepsi, wait, exclusively Pepsi Max, or like, is there other choices for some of us?
No. Your soda choices don't matter, but I never see Pepsi Max at the movies. And
okay, that's fair.
I like to drink. That's the soda I want. I want a Pepsi Max. I don't drink soda very much anymore. So when I have a soda, I want that soda that I like.
Okay, I get that. And you know what? That makes perfect sense to me. Like, because you do, like, you go to, like, I'll go to certain theaters for certain things, like I'm in the mood for. Like, I'm going to see this movie. I'm like, you know what? I really want I want pretzel bites. Now I can go to the Alamo.
Pretzel bites are a great movie snack.
Right. I can go to the Alamo and get a soft pretzel, and it's great. But that's not what I want. I want pretzel bites.
The Alamo,
Regal.
Yeah. The Alamo is a weird place to have, like, with the servers walking around and everybody's like eating meals, so they have like silverware. Again, distracting.
Yeah.
Just let me sit in a seat that 15 people have had sex on. People have dropped all their food all over, spilled drinks. There's all sorts of bacteria. The seat stinks. Like, I can smell it. But if I'm going to the movie theater, that's where I want to sit, and I want to eat my gross candy and probably drop some on the floor, and then put my half-filled cup down, and then have somebody knock it over so that it gets on the floor and makes the floor even stickier. Like, that's the movie theater experience, man.
I get that. And yeah, I do miss the old school theaters, the old shitty theaters. Let's just call them shitty theaters. The old dime theaters.
We still have a couple. Then I can't remember the name of them, but there's two within 15 miles of my house that the movie is $5, and it's first run movies, but they're $5. Old, gross, uncomfortable seats, in a screen that's not nearly as big as you want it to be, but you're still seeing the movie at the theater. The snacks are cheap. The movies, you can get 3 people into the movie for $15. And it's a great time. But yeah, take that popcorn off the menu. Take the nachos off the menu. Soft snacks only.
Yeah,
pretzel bites with cheese dip.
I do agree, because like as much as nachos are good, they're not movie food for me.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I don't know. It's an odd situation.
Yeah, I don't remember ever sneaking a big snack into the theater, probably because when I was going to the theater the most, all of my friends worked there. So I would just bring the snacks in. Nobody cared.
Mm-hmm.
And also now I feel like nobody still cares, because unless you get a manager working, like, you can come in with a sack of, sandwiches from, the hoagie place down the street and a 2-liter of Pepsi Max, and nobody's going to say anything.
That's legit, man. And it's funny because you mentioned that. And for me, so like when I think about movies, and like I kind of go through the whole gamut of like not just snacks, but the whole experience of getting there, I'm more inclined to, when I'm picking out like going to the movies and having this experience and going to, like you said with Alamo, like I need to pick certain areas, and it's not just food, but like what kind of movie I'm going to see. If I'm really in it to win it on a movie, I can't go to the Alamo like you said, or I can't go to a place that's really going to take you out of it. Like I couldn't go see Oppenheimer in some of those old dime theaters.
I was going to say, right? Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
I was going to say you can't go to see Oppenheimer at a place where you sit down to eat.
Yeah, but I really don't think you could sit down and watch. Like an Oppenheimer is one of those ones you got to go to one of those fancy theaters that have the recliners and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You definitely need a comfy seat for a 3-hour movie.
That's for damn goddamn sure. I ain't 20 anymore. That shit.
Yeah, that's why those types of movies, they get watched at home on my 65-inch with the nice sound bar. Like, it's fine. Then I can pause it to go to the bathroom, and I'm not going to miss anything.
I'm glad you actually mentioned that. Just before we kind of switch gears, going to the next topic, I want to ask you this then. What are some genres that like you desperately want to get to the theater to go see? Is it like IMAX? Is it, because really at this point IMAX is its own genre, but is it IMAX? Is it like action? And then like for the comedies, you're like, I'll just stay home.
There is not a movie that's come out since 2020 where I said, I have to get to the theater to see this. I can't think of one. I have a nice big comfy, it's, torn up because the cats like to claw at it, but it's nice and big and comfy. It's a recliner. I have my own snacks. I can eat whatever I want and I can stop. My TV is nice and big. My sound system is good. I can't imagine. I do like to go to like when they play classics at the movie theater. Like we saw Ghostbusters at the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I was too young. I was afraid of Ghostbusters when that came out in the theater because it, I was a scared little kid. I was probably 12 before I started watching scary stuff and then like realized that it wasn't scary. But up until then, everything scared me. But we were probably in our early 20s and they reran Ghostbusters and we went to see it at the theater. They rerun, they'll play they'll play, you know, a David Lynch marathon at the drive-in, you know, 45 minutes away from my house. Like that's what I want to go to, you know, to see on the big screen.
Yeah. Okay. Before we kind of switch gears again,
Yeah.
so drive-in then?
Yeah.
Right. How do you
Yeah.
feel about drive-ins compared to movie theaters?
I would go to a drive-in theater 100 times out of 100 over a movie theater.
Okay.
I think drive-ins are really cool. Just the idea of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that I'm still isolated, you know, I don't have to hear anyone else eat besides who's in my car with me.
That's fair. That is very fair. I get that. And, you know, and it is a little more convenient for being able to relax. I do love the drive-in myself. I think it's a great. I think my big thing is like I love Americana, if that makes sense. So yeah, like when you watch the what was their names? American Pickers.
Oh yeah, those American Picker guys.
I love Americana decor. I love antiques that tell stories from history and stuff. I love that stuff. And you know, to me, the drive-in, especially when you get like a drive-in that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
You get that Americana feel. Like, I don't feel like you are going. Now, I'm not saying drive-ins don't exist everywhere.
Yeah.
Or some sort of outdoor, you know, viewing or something. But there's just something about the drive-in that's just so American, you know. And I don't want to go all gung-ho America here. Or anything like that, like, it is. And
no,
it just
I totally
feels like I'm a part of that history, if that makes sense.
And I don't want to say that something good came out of the COVID pandemic, but a lot of drive-ins reopened or like sort of, you know, were on the brink of going out of business, and then like there was a resurgence, and I think a lot of people went to those and then went, oh no, wait, this is fun. Like, why did we stop doing this? This rules. So I think I think that was good for the drive-ins.
I completely agree with you, and not only was it good for the drive-ins, but I think it was again, I don't want to say COVID was great.
Yeah,
but,
no,
you know, like not like I don't want to make anybody feel like that, but
yeah,
at the same time, it's like it was not COVID.
Yes.
I want everybody to be completely clear on what I'm trying to say here. I think it was more along the lines of like we found that and we found other things I don't think we knew we could. If that makes sense.
Yep. I agree with that.
You know, so, and I think that happened with a lot of things, and I'm so glad that it did happen with drive-in theaters, because when they were dying, like that was killing me a little bit, because I was like, come on, not really. Like, of course I don't get to get out as much as I wish I could.
Yeah.
Although I have one like maybe like 3 miles away, but when you got kids, man, you can't do that.
Yeah. None of them are like super close, but one of them within like driving distance is, I think, the second oldest drive-in in America we have around here. And it's, you know, the screen's not that big, but like when you have a bunch of people and they're all like parked facing the screen, and there's some people like in the beds of pickup trucks on, you know, like lawn chairs, and then like people are sitting on their hoods, and then there's teens in the back seat making out, and it's like, and I'm not a things were better, you know, back then type of guy, but like that's the sort of thing that I'm like, this is fun. Like, people should experience this kind of thing more than they do.
I definitely agree. I think there's some things that I put down on, like, maybe not bucket lists per se, but it's like, okay, these are things that I think everybody should do in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Drive-in theaters absolutely on there.
Yeah, drive-in theaters are cool.
So, well, before we kind of switch gears a little bit, do you want to join me tonight for Let Me Micksplain, talk some Barbie, or?
I wish I could, but I have to work tonight.
Okay, well then, you know what? Then let's do this. We're going to start doing our sign off. Listen, man, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. But before you go, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? Everything's in the description too, so you can go down for the links. But tell them a little bit more about yourself and stuff like that. And I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was very fun. I really like doing this.
Yeah, sign up again.
I definitely will. But yeah, you can find me if you are interested in a sitcom style podcast, where we live in a haunted apartment building with ghosts and werewolves and people who used to be Frankensteins of 72 people stitched together, but were taken apart by a sorcerer. And then it sort of gets horny lately, like the last like 5 or so episodes. It's a lot sexier than it was in the beginning. So if that's interesting to you, check out Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex. It is one of the craziest things you'll ever listen to. And just a fair warning, Jack Billings' voice, very annoying, but if you can get through it, he is very hilarious. And then you can watch 2 unhinged leftists talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and how terrible the world is by listening to This Bizarre Adventure. It's me and B. Hyland. We are like I said, I think I said earlier, I don't remember what I say. I go into a fugue state when I'm on a podcast and don't remember what I'm saying. But
good,
yeah,
man.
We're the 2 maniacs that Zach and Dylan have to keep inside of reality when we're doing No Time to Binge. But we don't have Zach or Dylan on that show, so we sort of just go crazy.
That's very fair. I get that.
Both are explicit, so if you are listening in the car with your kids or something, you might want to chill.
yeah, maybe listen to the Scene Snobs podcast.
Maybe listen to the Scene Snobs podcast
a little bit less.
Yeah, and then when you're in your earbuds at work, then you listen to Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex and This Bizarre Adventure.
And if you are listening right now, I just want to say thanks the fuck a lot. Well, Mike, on that note, I'm going to say goodnight to you, sir. Thank you again for joining us, my friend.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate it. Now, take care. You have a great night, my friend.
You too.
Guys, this is Michael Colby. You should definitely check out his shows. He's 8-time or 9-time Snobby winner. Hell, it's my award show, and I don't even know anymore because they've won so goddamn much. I love it, though. He's a great guy. Go check out his shows. He's really funny. We've had some great conversations talking about it and such. But let's get into our final 2 segments of the night, and that is we're going to do Let Me Micksplain. We're going to talk about the controversy of why men specifically, are hating Barbie so much. And also, we're going to do another Mix movie pick, and that is where you pick the year on our social media throughout the week. And then I'm going to reveal the winner and give you a recommendation for a movie on it. So let's get into it. Let Me Micksplain. There it is. All right. Guys, Barbie is killing it right now. If you don't know, now you know. And I have to tell you, I have not seen the movie. I have not reviewed the movie. I don't know anything. I'm just saying I do want to go see it. It looks like a lot of fun. Looks colorful. Looks crazy. And actually, before I started the segment, I thought, oh, maybe I should go see it to know what I'm talking about. And my wife said that too. Should I get out there? And then I thought about it for a little bit and kind of went into it. And I thought, I think it's actually better because I'm not speaking about the movie. I'm not reviewing the movie. I'm not talking about the movie. I'm not touching down on things in the movie. I'm touching down on some asinine, crazy things that are going on in this world. There is a weird hate for Barbie right now by men, and not men, like small men with small minds, and I think it really comes down to, and this isn't me pontificating well, if you hate Barbie, you're not smart. No, I would never do that. That's not a nice thing to do. And plus, that's not true. It doesn't make you not smart. It can make you ignorant. It can make you probably a bit shitty sometimes, when I talk to people. I've had conversations where people were complaining about, oh, they're talking about matriarchy, whatever. We can wax poetic about the philosophical and all that. And I can tell you why you're wrong all day long. I'll explain it to you anytime. But I have to admit, with this movie and as good as it's doing, as big as it's doing, I'm excited for it as a film thing and as a filmmaker, because for me, it's like, yes, is Barbie obnoxiously pink? Yes. Is Barbie, and I'm talking about throughout time. I'm not just talking about the movie. Is Barbie obnoxious with a lot of things and a lot of themes that it does? Absolutely it is. Of course, that's what it's supposed to be. I'm sorry, every muscle on He-Man's not obnoxious. Look at his Battle Cat. His Battle Cat has muscles that I don't think truly exist. Let's get vain, shall we? But it's obnoxious and it's stupid. But what I don't get is, we often talk about, and usually as men too, and that's what I can speak to. Of course, I can't speak to women. I can't speak to why women love this movie. I have had conversations with women about this movie, and I've learned a lot by doing that. And I think if most of these men who are hating this movie blindly are going to see it with hate and vitriol in their systems, they should probably sit down and talk to a woman and get an idea that like the movie and has an understanding, and don't demean, because I've seen that too. And let me show you a couple of videos that I saw of the craziness that's happening. And we talked about Ben Shapiro earlier on the show. And again, I don't hate the guy or anything. I think he's a really smart guy. I don't agree with him on almost everything, but I think he's a really smart guy. He's very well spoken. He knows what he's doing in this world. He knows what he's doing with this industry. He's putting it together. And I do realize that he is pressing the hot button because that's his base. Now how much of it does he believe? I don't know. That's I'd have to meet him to find out. But like, he is doing wildly popular. And I understand that you kind of got to put the showmanship into it. I do it too. This was a little too ridiculous. He did a 43-minute review on Barbie. I think he did like a 30-minute review on Oppenheimer, which is significantly longer. You would think that would be reversed, but whatever. He did a 43-minute review on Barbie, and it was so hate-filled. He started it off this way, and I'm going to show you just how he starts off the video. And then I'm going to talk about it a little bit and how obnoxious this is.
Well, folks, I just got back from the theaters seeing Barbie and Oppenheimer. I'm about to review both of them. I'm going to tell you which one of these is the best blockbuster of 2023 and which one is maybe the worst.
I bet he loved our movie, right, Ken?
For those of you who can't wait that long, I'm going to give my review of the Barbie movie in the most Oppenheimer fashion.
What the
Run.
That was it. That's what he did. That is what he did in a nutshell. First of all, let's take into account that jean jacket, but whatever. And I'm not trying to ruin his appearance. Not an ugly dude, he's well kept and everything, but that jean jacket was horrendous. But anyway, I digress. Let's go to Barbie. How do you hate a movie so much? Like, again, I get showmanship. First of all, you didn't even make the goddamn thing. You threw it. Your editor had to cut it. What did you do? What did you do? Did you miss and you were just like, we'll fix it in post? Or do you fix it in post, guy? God damn it. It was not fixing it and it wasn't funny. It was stupid. No, I'm sorry. I hate that fix it in post stuff. But like, I saw that and I'm like, you can't even drive your point home. Maybe do like 3 or 4 takes where you actually get it into the garbage can, or at least the shot looks like you got into the garbage can. Come on, seriously. And I know I'm nitpicking there, but I that one bugs me a little bit as a filmmaker. Now, my point with this is I watched that and then I watched his review again, because like I said with Mike, I want to open my horizons a little bit. And, you know, even people I don't agree with who are on the other side, learn. Like, what do they do? Like, what's the process? Stuff like that. And Ben Shapiro's a smart guy for that, Daily Wire and stuff, and what he's built. I don't idolize them as far as like belief structure, idolism, but I do as far as business, and they're doing a good job with it. But what the fuck, man? Barbie, really? Why do you hate it so much? Is the ego so hard? And it's not just him. He's just like one of the many. Check this out. This was a pastor who the Barbie movie bothered him so much. And we'll talk about it after you watch the clip. But check this out.
That is a Bible. That is duct taped and zip tied to an Easton ball bat. Because what some of you need to understand is you've been delivered from a demon, but you've not pulled down the stronghold yet. The stronghold comes down when you demolish it with the Bible.
Let's get into the real reason why this happens. Let's be real. All right. And I mean, let's be really real. I would really like to have this conversation. That man, now all of this stuff is being done for views. Everything today, it's like a Black Mirror episode, is being done for views. He's bashing it because he's in his church and he wants people cheering for him and going crazy. Listen to how many people were freaking out over that. You know, now I understand in the podcast, you guys didn't get to see the clips. You can go out and find them. I will have them linked down below so you can check them out there. Whether you're on the podcast or the video, and you can, you know, see what it's all about. But I think what really bothers me in this instance of like all the hate and vitriol that's building up to it is like it's boys club times like 300. And it's too much, man. It's too much. The hate, and you're so in the minority on all this. It's kind of disturbing that you're not with the program of like, not that you have to like it, not that you have to follow it, not that you have to have that belief structure or whatever else. I would hope you'd be a decent enough human being and not bash a toy, like, I'm sorry. It's perfectly within God's plan to bash Barbie's dream house. But if he loves that book so goddamn much, why are you duct taping it to a bat and hitting things with it? Like, is that what the Bible is supposed to be for? And I realize I'm sort of like going off on a tangent, but this really bugs me. Like, stuff like this really gets to me. That and like the hate and the vitriol for it, because like I know many women out there who are just trying to make it work. They're just trying to live their lives. And it's getting harder and harder with like man boys getting upset about a fucking movie. Grow the fuck up. I realize this turned from laughing about it to getting kind of upset, but grow the fuck up, because I am getting upset about it. What the fuck? If you came in here and you liked some stupid ass movie, if you walked in here and you're like, I like Friday After Next, arguably, yeah, I did kind of enjoy it, but it wasn't Friday, and you said, I like Friday After Next. That's my favorite movie. I'm a scumbag if I tell you you're wrong and an asshole for liking that movie. Now, and you're a movie reviewer, and I can speak to this, so fuck you with all how you're reviewing things, and not you, the audience, but you, the ones who were going off there with the vitriol and the hate, which I don't like. And if you don't want to watch my show, I don't give a shit anyway. It comes down to, I'm not saying you have to be all peace, love, and and everything in between, but respect it. As a movie fan, as a movie reviewer, as a filmmaker, as so much more, fuck you for telling people they can't love this movie. Like, it made $1.3 billion and growing. It's going to be Warner Brothers' most successful movie and highest grossing of all time by the end of it. Now, is this something like, do I think Titanic deserved what it got when everybody going back to the theater all the time doing it? No. Did I make fun of like my sister for being one of the ones doing it, or other people? Yeah, a little bit, but in a good way, in a poking fun way. And I took her a few of the times just because I wanted to be able to do that for her. I will say this: it really bugs me when people come up here and for views, they sell out their integrity and they sell out any type of honesty or anything like that to trash something that people are loving. Listen, if it's not hurting anybody and it's not pushing an agenda that's really going to hurt, and I'm sorry, but fuck you, but equal rights and praising the matriarchy, I can praise the patriarchy and praise the matriarchy and want them both to be in place equally. You should too. You hateful motherfuckers for tying Bibles around a bat and doing this shit, for burning Barbie dolls. First of all, let me tell you something, Ben Shapiro. If you were any kind of fucking man, you wouldn't be burning toys when there's kids out there who you say, now I'm getting real mad. Fuck. Damn, I hate getting mad on podcasts. I like being like happy and jovial. Who you say and argue for you're pro-life. So I would hope you would be pro-children, and there's plenty of children who don't have toys out there. Instead of burning these things to push your point and get the views by, I didn't have to burn anything to be on here. Maybe I don't have as many views as you, but I got a great base. I got a great community I'm building. And they're not hateful, and they're not burning shit, and they're not tying Bibles to fucking bats, you weak-minded human being. And it's all of you doing the same shit. I realize I'm going to catch a lot of hate for doing this, but it does piss me off because you know what? I see toys getting burnt, and it means there's toys out there that aren't going to kids that maybe need them. I see Bibles being wrapped around bats, which should piss off any Christian, which should piss off, hands down, every single Christian who holds up that Bible and quotes it to tell gay people they're wrong, to tell trans people they're wrong, to tell all of these people they're wrong using that book, even though it doesn't say any of those fucking things in there. Whatever. You come out and you tie it to a bat and tear up another toy that, again, could have went to some kid who maybe needed it. How about you spend your money that way? Or if you don't want to do that, perpetuate the matriarchy and turn in Barbie toys to kids who maybe need them, take the fucking money that you spent to destroy these things, which wasn't your money in the first place. You did it with the church, or you did it through your podcast or your company or whatever, and you spent the money that way so you could tear things up. How about you take that fucking money and you buy some food for a food bank, or you go out and you do some fucking good with it like a pastor is supposed to. Can't really put that on Ben Shapiro. He's podcasting and do whatever the fuck he wants, but you're a pastor. Grow the fuck up. Stop being a man baby on stage and tearing things up with a Bible. Whatever. I should really get off this before I get in trouble. But that's my stance on it. It's a fucking movie. There's lots of movies I like that people hate, but I love them and they're mine and I enjoy watching them. And there's lots of people I know that people love that I hate, and I would never tell them they're wrong for loving it because, hey, it's art. Go fuck yourself if you're going to be that hateful towards it. You book burning assholes. Anyway, that was my rant. I got mad on this. Let me explain. I'm going to come with a lot funner topic next week. But let's switch gears a little bit to the final segment for tonight. If you guys are still with me, I appreciate you. And that is Mick's movie picks. Basically how this works is I pick out 4 years throughout history and within filmmaking and movie making and in its history. And I put them up on our social media every like Tuesday or Wednesday, like right after the show. And you vote on them. You vote for the year you want. The voting year that wins gets to, I will make a recommendation from a movie from that year. And tonight, so last week's numbers, the winner was 1991. So 1991, I'm seeing a theme here, like, because I will post like 1928, 1943, 1991, 2013, whatever. And I'm seeing a lot of people sticking with the 90s. So hopefully we can break out of that someday. Let's try. These are meant to be getting out of, breaking out of your, shell or whatever and trying something new in terms of movie watching and whatnot. But my movie for this week from 1991 is a great movie that I really enjoyed. Hopefully you guys will too. It is Wesley Snipes and Ice-T starring it. It's called New Jack City. If you haven't seen it, I definitely think you should check it out. It's really good. It's a really well done movie. Ice-T plays a detective who goes undercover in this rising drug gang, and the kingpin who runs it is played by Wesley Snipes. And it's I don't want to say it's a cat and mouse game, but it is a deep cover sort of, sort of quid pro quo. No, not quid pro quo. That's the wrong term, but some back and forth that kind of scares you. It gets thrilling at times. It can get very violent at times. It's really well done and is really well acted, especially. Stands up to this day. I think you should check it out. But that is my pick, New Jack City. Have you guys seen it? Sound off in the comments. Let me know. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Let me know what you think. Write it in the comments. Go over to our Discord. Go over to our Facebook group, the Snob Nation Discord, the Snob Nation Facebook group. Follow us on any social media. Talk about it there. Let's get into it. So next week's numbers. All right, here we go. The years 1952, 1927, 1987, and 2012. These will most likely be up on our social media tomorrow. You can find them on Twitter, Facebook. It will all be there. Just look for the post. It will be pinned to the top. Pick a year in the comments, or if it's a poll, pick the year, and I will tally them up next Tuesday, and I will give you a recommendation from that year. Before we go, I'm going to give you a real quick word from our sponsor for tonight, Entertainment Earth. Do you like collectibles?
What's up, movie snobs? Are you ready to take your love of pop culture to the next level? Look no further than Entertainment Earth, your one-stop destination for all things entertainment. From rare collectibles to the latest must-have items, they've got it all. Whether you are a fan of superheroes or a sci-fi lover or a classic movie enthusiast, Entertainment Earth has the perfect treasure waiting for you. But it gets better. By clicking the affiliate link down in the description below, you'll get an exclusive discount just for you being our amazing viewer, and we thank you guys. Get 10% off if you click on the link below. If you spend $79 or more, you get another 10% off and free ship. Check it out. Take advantage of this because it is truly awesome.
Yeah, guys, it is awesome. I do love Entertainment Earth. I get a lot of my stuff from there. If you've seen here or you've seen upstairs in my office, like all this stuff, a lot of it comes from Entertainment Earth. Some of it's a little more specific, but I did get like that, my Blockbuster. I love Blockbuster Pop and so much more. Thank you guys. I want to thank my guest co-host for tonight, Michael Colby. I appreciate you for jumping on. Go check out his stuff. Again, links down below. Make sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to hit that bell because when you do, you'll know when all these great shows and more come out. And I promise you, they're a lot less ranty than this one was. I just kind of went off on a tangent about it. But I want to say I appreciate all of you for watching, this community for being a loving, caring community that kind of gets together and really supports each other. So thank you guys again. If you're new to us, please join up on Snob Nation. We'd love to have you. But until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. This is the Scene Snobs podcast. This is what I love doing. So I appreciate you guys watching and being part of it. I just want to say one thing before we do kick off with that ending. We are adding a new segment to the podcast. So on the podcast, I do something called 5 questions. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about this earlier, and this is the first episode. So if you are listening to this, stick around because we have a very special 5 questions with Wize. That's right. Wil Otero, who is my first guest co-host on the podcast this year. He did it 5 questions with me. It's up now on the podcast, or it's up as a clip on the YouTube. You can go watch or listen to it anytime. And I want to say I appreciate Wize for doing that and you guys being a part of it as well. Thank you so much. But yeah, go check that out. And there will be links in that one in this episode. So you can go check out that episode as well if you want to see more of Wize and I together.
Hey everybody, Mick here. I just wanted to let you guys know there was a small technical issue on a couple of these with the microphone. It fixes pretty quickly, so just keep listening through, and it will get better on extra episodes. So thanks so much for listening and staying with it. Take care.
Welcome everybody back to another episode of 5 Questions. This is where we talk to our guest co-hosts and get a little more intimate about their movie though and how it works, where it comes from. So let's jump right into it. Of course, we're talking to our first guest co-host. If you haven't checked out that episode with him, please go back and check it out. It is up now. But yeah, Wize, thanks for coming back to the show, man, to do the 5 questions. I
appreciate you having me, brother. You know, anytime I could help you out with anything, I'm always down, man. We go through this all the time.
Oh, yeah, man. I love having you on the show. It's always great conversation. So to have you back. But before we get started in the questions, you want to tell everybody about your show and where we can find you?
Yeah, my show is called Stuck in My Mind Podcast. You can find it on all major platforms. It's as coaches, entrepreneurs, sometimes some regular people, and they just share their stories and share how they're trying to impact whoever they're trying to help. So, and then I have a mentality that I do with my brother in podcasting, Cole Johnson. There we focus on men's mental health and discuss some real great topics. It's a great show. I love doing it. And then every Friday night on Wil Wize TV, you can catch Papi J and Wize El Jefe. And that's it. I got some other projects in the works, but those are the 3 ones I'm focused on at the moment.
And you guys should be checking them out. Make sure to go down in the description, check out Wize's work. If you're listening to the podcast, go check out the episode we did with them and check it. Thank you again, man. These are going to be painless. I think we'll have some fun with them. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. Question number 1. Do you remember your first movie theater experience? What was the movie? What was it like? And if not, can you share another?
Neighbors. And I remember I was under the original Neighbors with Belushi and Aykroyd. And I remember I wasn't supposed to be there because that was kind of but back then it was like I don't know if it was rated R, but it definitely wasn't a kid's. And But I still remember that movie to this day.
Yeah, it sticks with you, huh?
Yeah.
Being your first one, yeah, it always does. So that's a great experience, and that's when it really stands out. Nobody really knows about it, but it is a good one. I think people should check it out.
Listen, it was a funny movie, man. I still, anytime I see it now, even if it has commercials, I stay and watch it. It's one of those movies that I'm always gonna remember because like I said, I was a young kid, and it had some really it was tame, but it was still an adult content. But I loved it. I loved it.
That's the most important thing, man. All right. What is a movie that reminds you of your child? Takes you right back every time.
That's a good one. It would probably be.
That is and it's so that's one that really sticks out for.
Yeah. Hey, you guys. Yeah.
Just because of that adventure of being outside, not knowing what it is.
Yeah, and at that point in my life, I was like, I wanted to do adventure. I wanted to find one eye. So that one, and maybe Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Great one. R.I.P. Pee-wee. That's a great answer. It's both perfect. And guys, if you haven't seen those movies, go check it. All right. Who is your character in a movie that you really look up to, maybe now or at some point?
Strider.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite characters, all the Lord. But I just look at it as him overcoming his not even his lineage demons and battling them and coming out on the other side. That definitely to me was inspiring and Return of the King is one of my favorite movies of all time.
That's such an interesting choice because you don't hear that. I don't think he gets thought of as some big hero, but he is such a stoic, beautiful character because he's never doing anything. Yeah, he's not your typical hero in a movie. What we always came to know. He's sensitive. He's empathetic, passionate. Yeah. There's no toxicity.
That's what to me. Like I said, to me it was more inspiring having to face your demons and having to face all that and come out on the other side. And like I said, it's one of my favorite to this day.
Yeah. That's an amazing choice. That's fantastic. And that's one of a kind. I don't hear that. All right. So question number 4. Can you share a time or memory when a movie made you have a strong emotion?
It could be any emotion.
Any emotion. It could be happiness, sadness, whatever you want.
Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump really had the scene with Jenny and she's throwing the rocks at the house and all that kind of tugged on my heart a little.
Yeah, it's a great scene too. These are really one of a kind answers because I don't even hear these movies. Like Goonies maybe, but Strider I know, Forrest Gump, all great movies.
But I'm a big, like, I might not do the show and all this stuff, but I've probably watched over, oh man, a lot of movies. Listen, I've seen A movie to D movies. It didn't matter to me. I enjoyed watching movies like people went Maniac Cop. I used to love watching the Maniac Cop. And then you go and eventually turned into a TV show, but Rags to Riches, because I used to watch that with my little niece and have a great time with that. So I just love movies, basically. I don't really have a favorite genre or anything, but I enjoy movies so much.
Yeah, and you show it, man. And again, like when you were on the show and we were talking, like you understand the process, and I love the respect that you have for it. Just your love of it's like a respect for your love of movies, which a lot of people like tend to shy away from because of, you know, we all tend to hide and stuff at times where we're like, nah, I don't want to talk about this because like if you talk about that movie, maybe it's a little, you know.
I love movies, man. I've seen everything, the Toxic Avenger to go from the Toxic Avenger to Independence. Like you could tell like which one had the budget and which. But I enjoyed the Toxic Avenger movie series so much because it was just, and the acting wasn't the greatest act. But as a kid, you don't think about it. You just enjoy the art. You enjoy what they did, and it didn't matter how great the actor was. You just enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, great point. All right, you ready for the final?
That's ready.
All right, here we do. What is another thing about you that you'd like the audience to know?
About me.
It could be about your shows. It could be about you personally. It could be about movies you like, just maybe something you learned along the way. Anything you want. This is your question.
Okay, I'll let you know a movie that me being let's put it this way. I'm 6'1", probably 300 pounds, right? And one of my favorite of all times is I just had it in my head.
What's you know what? Let me finish it off. I get that, and I get that too, because like there's a lot of movies I'm like I don't know. You start second guessing whether you're going to share it or not, because like I really is a guilty pleasure. I love
this. Yeah. I don't know if everybody want to know this, but yeah.
What's your favorite Dolly Parton finish off?
No. I was gonna say 9 to 5, but no, it's the best little whorehouse in Texas.
Mine too. I love that one.
That is my favorite Dolly Parton of all time.
Fantastic.
And I love 9 to 5, but the best little whorehouse in Texas. Her and Burt Reynolds, one of my favorites.
Hands down, a great man. I want to say thank you so much for jumping on the show, doing these 5 questions with me, hanging out, and doing the full podcast, which guys go back and check out. It's a lot of fun. And check out Stuck in My Mind podcast and everything else that Wize has going on. Thank you, Wize.
I appreciate you having. Always a pleasure to collaborate with you, brother.
Absolutely, and we will be doing it again. All right, until next time. Take care, everybody. But thanks again so much for joining up, guys. I really always truly appreciate you. I love you. So make sure to be kind, stay groovy, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Make sure to join us next week. Love you. Talk to you soon. Take care.